Hey guys, most everybody knows by now that Borderlands 3 has some new arenas called Proving Grounds. These are hosted by the Guardians and they want you to prove yourself worthy, and they will put you into these areas where you gotta do a lot of fighting and killing, and they'll give you some objectives, and the more objectives apparently that you complete, the better loot you'll get in the end. Before I go any further, I want to give you guys a spoiler warning. If you haven't played to the end of the game and you haven't seen any of this footage, go ahead and stop the video now. But for those of you that want to know more about the Proving Grounds and all the locations that you need to pick up missions to access them, keep watching. First, I'm going to show you guys everything you need to do to be able to access the Proving Grounds, and then I'm going to show you the areas that you need to go to actually collect the missions to get into the arenas. The very first thing you need to do is get almost to the end of the game. You've got to beat one of the Calypso twins, and his name is Troy, and once you beat him, you're going to gain access to the vault behind him. Once inside the vault, you want to go all the way to the pedestal. You'll be picking up an item called the Meridian Analyzer. It is another ancient and mysterious Iridian device that unlocks the ability to decipher the Iridian language. After you pick that up, you'll be instructed to go back to Sanctuary and head towards Tannis's lab, and she's going to have you decipher one of the Iridian markings. When you go to inspect the Iridian marking, it's going to automatically pull out your analyzer, and then you're going to hear an audio quote. During this, you're going to see a pop-up come up, and it's going to talk about the Iridian Analyzer, and it's also going to tell you about the lodestars and to look out for those because they contain the coordinates to the fabled Iridian Proving Grounds. You have to go around to all the maps and locate these lodestars and interact with them, and once you do, you'll pick up a mission and it will allow you to access one of the Proving Grounds. So far, we have found 6 lodestars, which allow you to access 6 different Proving Grounds, and I believe there is more because there are some missions that are showing not completed, like 2 of them, so it's possible that there will be 8 Proving Grounds total. In the next part of the video, I'm going to show you where each of the 6 lodestars are located and on which maps, and down in the description I've got the timestamps for each of the 6 maps, so you can just jump to one of those if you're missing one. The 6 maps that have these 6 lodestars are the Splinterlands, Desolation's Edge, Meridian Outskirts, Floodmoor Basin, Jacob's Estate, and Devil's Razor. I'll show you guys all the lodestar locations, and then after that, at the end of the video, I'll show you guys what to do after you collect the missions. I'll also be sharing my experience with these Proving Grounds and the kind of loot that I got. The first one I'm going to show you is the Splinterlands, and this is located on the planet Pandora, and I'll show you the entire map, and I've circled where the lodestar is. The lodestar holds the mission to get into the Proving Grounds, and they're all going to be marked with an exclamation mark in your game, so you don't have to worry too much about trying to find them. Here's a closer look at that location, and once you pick up the mission, you don't go into the Proving Grounds right there. You have to go somewhere else, and I'll show all of that later on in the video. Most of these lodestars are going to be out of the way and maybe on the outskirts of the map and not near the main paths, and once you pick this one up here, it is going to say discover the Trial of Cunning. You just accept it and it will put it in your side missions objectives. I'll go ahead and show you guys the other 5 locations on the other 5 maps. I'm not going to voice over that. You guys can just watch it. And again, if you just want to jump to certain maps, then I'll have all those timestamps down in the description. Okay, so after you have collected one of these or all of these, you come back to Sanctuary and head to the main control area, and you'll be able to now navigate to each of these proving ground locations. You have to actually fly to each of them to unlock them, and then you go back to Ellie's location and take the drop pod to all 6 of them individually. They'll each have their own loading screen and theme and different kinds of enemies, and once you land in the location, you want to go up to one of the Guardians and have a chat with them, and then they'll let you in and let you start. My experience with these proving grounds is not what I expected. I have done all 6 of them, and I have completed some of them with every objective done on Mayhem level 3, and the type of gear that I got was just mostly pink or purple, whatever you want to call it. I've done 7 total proving grounds, and out of all of those and meeting most of the objectives, I've gotten 1 legendary. The one time I did it in Mayhem mode and did all the objectives, everything in the crate was just pink, and I guess I was expecting more because in the regular game and regular missions and side missions, you get a lot of legendaries from like bosses and some of the missions themselves. And that is the case for the proving grounds and the bosses that are in there. When you kill them, you're going to be getting a lot of legendaries. I think I got 8 in one run, but when you get to the ending crate where you're talking to the Guardian and you've finished everything, you don't really get that good of stuff. I'm guessing and hoping that there's something super rare that you can obtain from completing everything and getting to that crate, but because it's super rare, you're not going to find it very often, and that's why a lot of the loot might be just a little bit lower. But let me know what kinds of stuff you guys have been able to obtain from either the enemies in the proving grounds or this crate at the end. But I hope this helped you guys out, and we'll see you next video.
Hey, where are we going after this? I don't know about you, but I could murder some sushi right now.